Hey, everybody, welcome back to Collection Wars. I'm Gabe.
Michael, what's up, everybody?
What is up, guys? We got a great show for you guys tonight. Very excited about our guest, right, Michael?
Yeah. Michael Plante. He's a friend and known in the studio community, studio model community, and yeah, we've been trying to get him on. Schedules haven't quite linked up, and now they have. And man, I'm real excited to have him on the show.
Oh, I'm super excited. I love learning about studio scale stuff. As you guys know, I'm not the most versed on
Okay,
studio scale and vintage
that's okay.
stuff and alien stuff and Blade Runner stuff and
Yeah.
but no,
Uh,
today's going to be an amazing show. Going to see a lot of cool stuff. You want let's bring him on.
let's do it.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
Hey,
There
Michael,
he
how
is.
you doing?
What an intro. Impressive.
Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
you gotta have
today.
that, right? That dramatic intro coming in.
Yeah.
How you doing, Michael?
Doing really good, really good. Glad to be on. Glad finally schedules worked out.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to sitting down with you guys tonight and having a conversation about everything studio scale.
Yeah, this is the show, Gabe, where I get to geek out because my passion for the studio stuff. But besides me geeking out, you got to know that Joseph is geeking out in the background of Michael's collection right this second. It's beautiful what you got back there. I'll tell you what, I can't wait to break in and show the viewers this guy's amazing collection of
Oh yeah.
studio models.
Oh yeah. I
So
was I was looking at the pictures that Michael sent us, and they're mind blowing. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. It's definitely been a labor of love for a long time.
yeah, I understand that. So before breaking into this deal, Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in? Obviously, we're all Star Wars fans, of course, but why don't you
Absolutely.
let us know a little bit about the studio?
Yeah, I think like most of us, as a child of the 70s and, got to, I grew up as a kid watching Star Trek and, Battlestar Galactica and, Logan's Run and
Oh yeah,
UFO and, all those, really early on, sci-fi TV shows. And I mean, I was just in awe about it. And then 77 Star Wars came along and, that was pretty much the nail in the coffin for me. At that point, as a kid, I started collecting all the Kenner spaceships and all the
yeah,
action figures. And I mean, I had a collection that was just incredible, but over the years of moves and stuff, when I was a kid, a lot of it got lost in the shuffle, unfortunately. But I always kept a passion for it, and I finally got to a point about 20 years ago, where I was at a point in my career where I was financially secure enough that I could actually start to fulfill my passions for studio scale models. And so I started I started looking around and looking at websites and getting on different forums and stuff like that and talking with people and just trying to understand what I needed to do, what I could do, who did I need to contact, who did I need to be in touch with, who
yeah.
was in the know, to
Mhm.
where I can start my collection off. And I think with most of us it started off pretty simple, right? Pretty low key, nothing too over the top.
I know,
um,
I know.
but I eventually got to meet several XILM folks who actually worked on many of the movies and actually did a lot of the work on the filming models. And I kind of got really just dragged into it. And that's the end of the story. And it's been it's been a whirlwind since then. So it's been a wild ride, but it's been really very rewarding.
Mhm.
And I love being able to share with people, the things that I've got, just like Michael, you have, I mean, you've got an incredible collection, Gabe, obviously a different type of collection, but obviously, phenomenal. And, it's always great to be able to, share it with family, friends, and fans, right?
Absolutely.
Right. And Michael, I think one of the things we were mentioning, Michael, other Michael, right? Michael Haas and I, we're mentioning that there does seem to be a big shift towards studio scale recently. I think a lot of collectors are kind of gearing towards that route. But funny enough, Michael's mentioned that a lot of the people that were in that industry are kind of phasing out a little bit. A lot of those ex-ILMers are,
A lot of them have moved on. I mean, 10 years ago, a lot of them were still in the business. They actually had studios up here in the Bay Area, as well as down into the Southern California area. But I would say probably 70% of them have moved on to other things. Some of them have moved into CGI careers, and don't do anything with modeling anymore. And so, it's a hard business to be in, right? Especially when the industry moved away from actual studio scale models to kind of the CGI world of things, which we all remember that shift. But it wasn't something you could touch. It wasn't something you could feel. It wasn't something you could have, right? There was no physical presence to it. There was, it was great. I could have a picture of it, a high definition picture of it on my laptop or my computer or something like that. But I mean, unlike these things and the others, I can't touch them. I can't physically understand their presence and their size and the detail and the level of effort that these artisans go into putting these things together, right? And I mean, I think there is a new resurgence of an appreciation for studio scale, because it's kind of been a lost art, and I think it's kind of been resurrected again. And I think that's due to a lot of people like us and others who have really pushed the art form. And I think like Kurt Kuhn is the first one that comes to mind, right?
Absolutely.
He's kind of the founding father for me. Of someone who just really, wanted to make sure that this art form just didn't fade away,
Right.
and that there was a forum for people to gather together and in enjoyment of sharing, discussing, viewing, all the facets that go along with, studio scale modeling. And it wasn't just that for Kurt. It was much broader than that. It was everything. It wasn't studio scale. It was everything, right? It was anything that had to do with the art form, whether it was a collector of studio scale, or you're a collector of props, and you name it. Kurt was the champion for bringing everyone together in kind of a solidified manner of a single place to go and just be with those people and connect with those people, right? And talk to those people and understand what they're doing and what they're working on and what they've got, and getting, information on, hey, I want to get this, but I don't know how to do it, right? Or I don't know where to go. And that was really, for me, that was very pivotal in my building of my collection.
Yeah. You and me both, Michael. And it, the people like you and me obviously know, what Kurt, as you just said, has done for the modeling industry and for so many people out there, whether it's the builders, the artists, right, or the buyers, the people that are looking to purchase. But Kurt's at a point in his life, as a lot of us know, and he's considering passing the torch on. And it's sad and it's scary at the same time, because we gotta stay strong with that. And I mean, all the materials that he has of all these years is put together into that one website, and it's
It's
just
a massive archive.
yeah, it is.
It's just massive. I mean,
Yeah.
it would take anyone just coming on. It could take them years to get through
Yeah,
all the assets that are in that archive. And yes, I mean, I think I think a lot of us know that he's he's getting ready to kind of pass the torch on. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But
it's his baby. I know it's not going to be easy. I can tell you that.
It's not going to be easy. But his thing really is to make sure that whoever takes it on is going to be a true steward of the site, right? And really make sure that the integrity and the honesty and the art form is kept going, right? It's not just I'm going to let this go, and whatever you want to do with it, go and do with it what you want. He's going to be very meticulous about who takes it over, and ensuring that the fundamentals behind how Models Miniatures Magic was founded are those continuing goals and going forward.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it better. That's the perfect words. It's we'll see what happens.
And I think that's the whole thing, right? It's the art form, because of the resurgence of it, right? There's going to be a lot more people looking. And I mentioned this when we had Kurt on our show. Every time I would just Google something, anything, any type of Star Wars ship or anything, Modeler Magic was.
It always comes up. It's at the top. It's at the top of the search, right? No matter where, it doesn't matter what search engine you use.
No, it's always on top. So I think it's definitely going to be very important, especially like you said with the resurgence, because that is going to be the place where a lot of people are going to be going for references. So I hope
that'll be good.
I hope he finds the right person to pass the torch on to.
Yeah, for sure. I was real blessed to finally. I don't know if I even told you, Michael. If I told you when I went up to pick up the 8-foot Star Destroyer from Mark, I swung through. Did I tell you I got to see?
Yeah, no, you didn't tell me, but I talked to Kurt, and he said you and I guess your son stopped by and saw him. So he, last time I talked to him, he mentioned that you guys had stopped by, and he was thrilled about that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
He was really thrilled about that.
Yeah, for sure, man. That was cool. So before we jump into your beautiful collection, our viewers are going to see Star Trek. They're going to see what I'm real excited for is Battlestar Galactica, and as well as obviously Star Wars. Mm-hmm. This might be a tough question, and I didn't know whether to ask this at the beginning or the end. But if you had to choose. Now we'll wait till the end to talk about which one might be your favorite piece. But out of those three, Battlestar, Star Wars, and Star Trek, do you have a favorite?
Yeah, those are my three predominant genres that I work in. Absolutely. But I actually started my collection off specifically in the Battlestar Galactica world. And it morphed and grew far beyond Battlestar Galactica. But if I had to get rid of everything and only keep one genre, it would be Battlestar Galactica.
That's awesome.
Right. Well, how about let's jump in. You want to start? We could start with Battlestar Galactica.
Let's do it.
What do you guys want to do? Happy to talk about anything. They're all precious to me. So
let's start with Battlestar Galactica, and then we'll get into Star Wars. Even though our viewers are going to be like, "No, we want to see
we want to start with Star Wars first." I'm sure that
but no, we got to make them wait. That's the fun part.
We'll put Star Trek last.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
Battlestar Galactica for Michael is a new
I
adventure
know.
as well,
Michael's
right?
been
I mean,
all over
you
that.
know, now he's getting into,
Yeah.
getting into that collection.
Yes.
So let me see if I could zoom. No. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a hero version of the Cylon Raider, and by hero version, it's about 4 times the size of the studio scale.
Oh.
And it's actually a Salzo pattern that was built for me by Mark Elkins. And I mean, the detail in this thing being in it, and the hero versions are, the ones that, usually were used for the extreme close-ups in the filming, as opposed to the studio scales, which, were kind of filmed from a distance perspective. The studio scale, I believe, is 16 across, 18 across.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not
where
real sure.
this is in the in the 20 plus range.
24, I think.
24, 25
Yeah.
wingspan. It's fantastically large enough to where we could Mark could actually physically build out the cockpit and add Cylon pilots, and literally to the point of being able to actually put the red eyes into the pilots and detail out the dashboards and the pilot controls, and literally create all the louvers of the canopy. Well, with the studio scale version, you just couldn't. The size was prohibitive for doing that kind of detail. So, this was an incredible opportunity to create a really beautiful version that just dripped with detail that you only got at those extreme close-ups in the original series.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. I mean, yeah, look at that. Look at the detail. It's amazing. And
so I've got one coming. Just FYI.
Why am I surprised about that, Michael? I mean, really? No, yeah. I can't see that.
It's Mike's personal one. I end up getting from him.
Oh, okay. So is it built or not built?
It's built.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, it's. I think it's his. I don't know for sure, but it was his personal.
His personal one.
Yeah.
Yeah. This thing. Look at that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I mean,
that's cool. The gold one in the back.
Yes. We decided to go with the gold Centurion in the back, and then the 2 silver Centurions in the front.
So was there a gold in the movie? Was there a gold?
There was a gold in the original series. It only made an appearance a few times.
Okay.
But it wasn't actually a pilot, as I recall.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know for sure. I know because the action figures, they've got a gold one in this, of course, the known silver. God, that's beautiful. Yeah.
So the side running lights were indicative of the first episode, the main episode. They didn't really show beyond that. When the Cylon attack was happening on Caprica, you got a few shots of where the Cylon Raiders were flying over the city, and they actually had these side running lights on them, which never really made it into any of the further episodes after that. So in the studio scale version. So we tried to outfit this out as close as possible to the original first episode version, including the ghost emblem on the top of the wing and such. But yeah, the side running lights and all, we Mark did an incredible job and did a lot of research to make sure that the detail, and that is what you're seeing there, is you're seeing the hero version above the studio scale version.
Got it.
And so that gives you kind of a comparison of the size difference that we're talking about here.
Now, Michael, I have a quick question. So obviously, because I've been learning a lot from Michael too, about kit bashing and all that. Now, did that same kind of, you know, method was used in these with the whole kit bashing thing, or were they molded from?
These are kits. So like the hero version is a Salzo casted model. You the original when he built it, right?
Mhm.
I mean, entailed using kit bashing as part of the process, right?
Mhm.
So he, putting it together before you could actually turn it into a kit, you have to you have to actually acquire the kit parts, and whether you can get them or not. If you can't get them, you got to build them one way or the other. But yeah, the original before the kit could actually become your reality. Salzo had to go and do the research to understand where the parts came from, what model kits the parts came from, and so on. Acquire as many, if not all, to actually put the master together, if you will, and then to duplicate the master into a limited run kit.
Got it.
And the reason it's limited run on a lot of cases, Gabe, is because you can only mold those things,
Right.
and the molds start,
Yeah, the molds have only a handful of castings available to them before they just fall apart.
Yeah.
Got it. Beautiful stuff, man. Oh, that's such a
And that's another hero version of the Viper. Again, another Salzo kit, and again built by our friend Mark Elkins for me several years ago.
Yeah.
That is such a cool piece. Ooh, that's a
that's a
Yeah, so what you're getting here is you're getting a kind of an undershot of the studio scale Battlestar Galactica with the colonial mining ship, studio scale colonial mining ship, and the Astro Queen perched beneath her, which were part of the ragtag fleet. Both are in studio scale.
So, Gabe, are you familiar with Battlestar Galactica at all? Because with the ragtag, it's what was left over in the very first original Galactica. Okay, that's going to be another one that you're going to have to go sit down. Our last episode, Michael, we were talking about the fact that he hasn't ever seen Blade Runner before, so he's got all these movies that he's got to go watch. But yeah,
don't worry about the second one, Gabe. Just watch the original one. That's all I have to say.
1,000%.
Original is all you need to see.
1,000%.
Oh, I'm going to. I have a lot of stuff that I need to catch up on. So absolutely. All right, let's.
So, man, I just got to jump in real quick and say that one right there, that it's just the shuttle, and I love it, Michael. That little, it's so simple, like the transport that I actually got from you, the Rebel transport.
The Rebel transport, yes.
Excuse me, yes. It's very simple, but I love that thing, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I had to have. I mean, with my Battlestar collection, I just had to have just about every single possible, and I'm still looking for other pieces. So, but it's an ongoing collection. But yeah, the studio scale Battlestar Galactica shuttle, and again, seated next to another version I have of the studio scale Cylon Raider.
Okay. So now is there a bunch of different versions of them, just depending on like the episode or just the type of shot that they film?
No, I've just got I've just got a couple. I've got a couple of everything practically. So I've got a couple of the studio scale Cylon Raiders that come from different people, different builders. And such. And so each one of them's custom, a little bit different, a different artist, a bit of a different look, right?
Yeah.
No two are exactly the same. So, I can put all of them together, and I could pick out basically. I know exactly by just looking at it who built it and who was involved with it. So
that's awesome.
They may be the exact same size, but every artist has a unique touch that they put on it.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh.
So that is the 6-foot studio scale Battlestar Galactica. First known second build from the studio scale version was built by Jim Crevlin, if I'm saying his name right. I think he finished it up in 2002.
Wow.
And he actually got Richard Hatch to sign the interior of it in late 2002.
Beautiful.
And the story goes, and there's no one from Paramount who will admit to it, or at least no one I've found from Paramount who will admit to it. But supposedly when they were doing the artwork for the DVD box set, they were unable to use the actual studio scale filming model that had actually ended up in a private collector's collection at that time. And I don't know, there's on and off stories about it had become damaged and had to be repaired or something like that. And they wanted to take a picture and they wanted to put it on the DVD box set. And so it's reported that this is the one that appears on the DVD box set of the original Paramount release of the Battlestar Galactica original series.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it would make sense, right? If you're saying it's the second build, right?
Well, yeah, it was the first known build outside of the original studio scale filming model.
Beautiful.
So that we know of, there's just 3 then, right, from the original, right? Is there more? Is there other ones besides yours and Mark's?
Yeah, there are other ones out there. If you go on to Models Miniatures Magic, there have been other builders and other artists who do actually still build them in 6-foot scale. So I mean, you can still acquire them. They're not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you can still, if you look around, you can still find artists that will that have patterned them and will build you a 6-foot studio scale Battlestar Galactica.
Oh man, Michael's already pulling out his phone, getting the plans ready.
Yeah, you don't have to worry, Gabe. He knows me already, so
he's already ready to go.
Yeah,
But I mean, there's and the interesting thing about the Battlestar itself is you look at the underside of it and it's extremely, extremely heavily detailed, as opposed to the top of the model. And as the story goes, when they were building the studio scale version, they were building it upside down, and they were doing all the work on the bottom, and they were adding all the details to the bottom. And the studio was all of a sudden like, no, we got to move faster. We got to move faster. We got to move faster. We got to go to production. Cut the build time. So when they came to working on the top of it, they didn't have as much time to slather on the details as they did on the underside of it.
That's a good backstory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, look at that. That's the difference. But man, it's so beautiful. And hey, Gabe, I was lucky enough to, and when I was over and seeing Mark, when you stand next to that thing, it's just massive.
But Mark's not studio scale. He actually built it larger.
I didn't know that.
It's larger than studio scale.
I didn't know that.
And he custom built every single part on that darn thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't think it's almost 7 feet long. Studio scale is 6.
Yeah, we're gonna have him on in a few episodes.
Oh yeah, you want to talk about someone who can just blow everyone away with his knowledge of studio scale models and the
Yeah,
details and the backstories behind these things.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just,
He's
to me, it's so crazy to think like, I mean, they could look at a ship and literally say, that's the Sherman tank,
Yeah,
little
that's
piece
the
of like,
turret of
yeah,
a 1947, HMS, Victory, warship.
crazy. And it could be like a little tiny little small
Little teeny
detail.
piece. Yeah.
Oh, and they know it all.
This
It's
is so fun. This show is so fun.
yeah,
I mean, this is so awesome.
beautiful. Oh, wow.
I
Look
mean,
at that little detail
that's badass.
and whatnot.
Yeah, so
And
it's got
whatnot.
all the it's got all the bells and whistles. It was originally built to mimic the studio scale, so it's got all the running lights on the landing bays. The I don't even know what the technique is called, but it's a cylinder that narrows about 6 inches into the landing bay, and as it narrows, it creates that sense of depth
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
force
length.
perspective.
Yeah, the force, just like they did with Star Trek the original series for the engineering room, right? That whole set behind them was just a little teeny space, but the volume perspective, the way they built it, made it look like it went on for hundreds of feet, right? Same technique used here that Krevlin used here.
And it's amazing. Just, I mean, obviously and obviously this is a small little model as well, right? It's not.
Yeah, there's an interesting back. I don't know if I showed the other side of it, but there's an interesting backstory to that little teeny model. There's another one in the other landing bay, and I met a artist in my early teens. His name was Sandy Blaylock, and he worked on a couple of different movies. I forget which ones they were, but he gifted me these little handmade ships, and so they sit around in several different models in landing bays and things like that. Unfortunately, he passed away many years ago, so they're very precious to me, and they hold a really special place in my heart.
awesome.
That's an awesome backstory. Yeah.
It sure is.
So that's the other beast. That's the Cylon Base Star, the studio scale Cylon Base Star, 36-inch diameter.
Jeez.
It's
Uh,
huge. It's huge.
it's you don't you hear 3 feet in diameter, and you just all of a sudden you just don't until you actually see it
Yeah.
in reality. It doesn't sound that big, but this thing is massive, and it takes to move that thing takes 3 people, literally. Once you get it off the stand, it was a kit. It's an exact replica. The kit was put together, as I recall, by Sean Sides and Sean Corosini, and they did a just incredible job and just a huge amount of research into the details and the kit parts and the dimensions and everything else like that. And I mean, it just is the most phenomenal piece of work that I have ever seen. And I was just lucky enough that there was one extra kit left, and Sean Corosini, over a couple of years, put it together for me, and that was the end result. And it's just absolutely flawless.
Is it fiber optic?
Yes,
Fiber
yes.
optic, yeah.
But again, the Cylon Base Star wasn't heavily lit. Unlike the Galactica and other ships, it was lit, but it was very very limited in its lighting.
Steve Neeson was going to build one, right? Did he ever do it?
Yeah, actually, there were several artists that I had spoken to that actually had, were doing similar projects as far as, investigating and looking into, all the details around how it was built and things like that. And I probably spoke to half a dozen artists and kit builders who were actively working on projects to bring the Cylon studio scale Cylon base star to reality. And unfortunately, some of those projects just never quite got off the ground. Unfortunately, some of those other artists, they just kind of disappeared, if you will. And really, once I started, talking with the two Seans on this project, it just became completely obvious that this was the route to go.
That's beautiful.
Badass. Hey, Gabe. So the Raiders, the Cylon Raiders, you'd see tons of the ships flying out of that base star there. It's
at the middle of the part right there.
Yeah, in the movie. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so the channels are actually access points into the landing base.
Wow.
Hey, Michael, you know what would be awesome?
There it is.
To get to have a studio scale that size, or just a model of from Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Wouldn't it be cool to have that model?
Oh yeah, there's I think his name is Daniel Cho. If you
I
go
would
on
love
Models,
to
Miniatures, and Magic, I believe he has actually built one. I think I saw it not too long ago, and it is awesome. It is just phenomenal.
I wonder, can you imagine what goes into that with all the things? God,
I know. That underbelly. That's such a cool.
When you look at that and you think of the Star Destroyer, which we'll be getting into a little bit more of that one as well. But yeah, if you look at this, you see a lot of resemblance,
Well, and I mean, I think, I'm sure a lot of the viewers already know this, but a lot of the kit parts that are on one ship, whether it's from Star Wars or Battlestar Galactica, find their way into all these other builds, right? It wasn't, there's parts of, the original TOS Enterprise kit that are on the Battlestar Galactica. I mean, I could point out several parts, kit parts that are on it that are from the original model. If you remember as a kid, the I think it's the AMT version of, when we were kids, you can go and buy at your local hobby store. There's several kit parts from that Enterprise on the Battlestar Galactica, studio scale as well as mine. And they basically, these artists had, they had a warehouse full of model kits, right? And then, and they would, go through these things and kit bash. And, of course, they were working on one movie with several different ships, that they had to build. Of course, they were taking similar parts from similar kits and crossing them across different ships as they built them.
Yep. I'm sending something to Gabe right now. I was gonna see if I don't know if he. Well, yeah, we'll pull it up. Yeah, we'll pull that up.
Do you want me to show that picture?
Yeah, show it.
All right.
So what Michael's talking about right now, it's a perfect example. So the second one that I sent to you, I don't know if it came through or not.
Yeah.
So show the second one first if you can. So the 8-foot destroyer is being kit bashed right now, and Michael sent me a picture of the kit bashing process, and then of course I wanted to send it to Mark. So if you guys see that piece right there,
there it is.
Yeah, pay attention to that piece. So that one right there is actually on his Battlestar Galactica.
Yep.
And that same piece right there is actually on the Avenger Star Destroyer, and there
It
it is.
is on the Star Destroyer as well. Yep.
Yep, and there it is.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool,
yeah, a
Mike.
lot of
You really know the depth. But it's really cool on reference when you send a picture showing Mark, and then Mark sending pictures back. So I mean, they're doing really good together, Michael. I'm real excited that that Mike Salzo took on that build for Elkins.
no.
Oh, that is beautiful, man. So this is one of your newer ones.
Well, that's as I guess as new goes. This was a studio scale Cylon tanker, which appeared in the first episode again. It did appear in one or two other episodes later on in the series. It was built. The kit it is another kit. It's from a German artist, and I do apologize. I can't recall his name right off the top of my head, but I had to actually have it shipped from Germany and sent it to Mark. And we talked about upping it a couple notches, right? And so we actually busted open what would have been a landing bay that would have been closed, and you never see what was behind the bay door. So basically pull back the curtain, and that's what we kind of see as what was behind the closed bay door.
Yeah, don't ask Mark to go the extra mile, right?
Oh God, no. Yeah. He doesn't like accuracy, and nothing like that, right? That's why we love him so much.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right. That's right.
The one thing that stood out on this one is just looking at the little decal. I don't know if they're decal. They're probably painted on.
They are, yes. So the Cylon tanker had a huge number of decals on it, and they come from a wide variety of model kits. There's even I don't know if I sent the picture of it. There's even a U.S. flag decal on the Cylon studio scale tanker. So it's on the other side. I don't know if I sent you the picture, but it's
so
sheets
cool.
and sheets of transferable decals that were on the Cylon tanker.
Beautiful, man. It just like the weather. It just looks so amazing. I love it.
And that's just kind of another picture of the colonial mining ship. You got a flat top, which was another part of the ragtag fleet. If you see that little teeny ship that's on the top of the flat top, that again is, as I pointed out, another one of my friend Sandy Blaylock's creations that just kind of sits there as a reminder of him for me.
So cool.
And then just the point of the front section of the Astro Queen.
Beautiful.
Wow, and the base, everything about that's beautiful.
Yep, and that's so the top plate on the Battlestar. So the entire top of the Battlestar Galactica is removable to get into the inner workings of it. So literally everything comes off or opens up. And on the main body section, if you take off that main body section, which spans between the two landing bays, and you turn it over, Richard Hatch signed this in November of 2002. And that's his signature, also known as Captain Apollo.
Awesome.
Yeah, we lost him about a year ago?
About 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the great pleasure of meeting him in person.
That's awesome.
So before his passing, but that was great. And again, to the point, this Battlestar was supposedly the one used in the Paramount's DVD box set.
Wow. And I have that, by the way.
So do I.
Smart
Both
ass.
the DVD and Blu-ray, just whatever. So I acquired it in 2011, and in about 2016 I actually sent it to some XILM folks and did a restoration on it, and and basically we took out all the halogen lighting because it was built exactly like the original, which was the fiber optics were lit by extremely hot halogen bulbs, which if you left them on too long would literally melt it at some point. In fact, I heard that was what caused the damage to the original studio scale one, is that somewhere along the line it was left on too long and the actual halogen bulbs caused a fire. So we replaced everything with LED technology, same looms, same light color, everything. So, did a lot of research on exactly, what the light spectrum was that was being used for the halogen bulbs, and replicated that completely. It was about a 6-month project for its restoration, and that was about 16 or 17.
Wow.
So did you drive it over to them, or did you?
I drove it over to them.
Yeah.
They drove it back.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's beautiful. That's so cool. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. The crate.
Yeah.
You're giving Michael some flashbacks.
Yeah. It does come with a coffin, which is and the way it never touches the ground. I mean, even in the crate, it is suspended mid crate. And it's built exactly like the studio scale. There's several access points, both front and rear, and on either side of the landing bays, which would have been used for when they were filming. They could put the model in different positions based on what the particular shot was, and they could suspend the model, whether it be from the side, from the top, from the bottom, from the front, or the back, depending on what shot they were trying to take.
Beautiful. All right, so that's the end. Do you know if there was any other pictures, Michael? The Battlestar.
I don't think. Right? Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I didn't want to overwhelm you too much.
Oh no,
I'm not overwhelmed at all.
This is great. So now we're gonna move on to what our viewers mostly collect, right? I mean,
I am sure there are a few people watching this that are Battlestar Galactica fans. I just know it. I just have a feeling.
Absolutely.
I can almost guarantee I'm one of the big ones. That's all that matters.
All right, let me bring this bad boy up right here.
Nice.
Where it all started, right?
Yeah. So this is the Corbin 39-inch blockade runner, and it was built for me by again Mark Elkins, who has been one of my primary builders, artists that I have used over many years. This is a relatively new piece within the last year. And Mark went through excruciating pains to replicate it from A New Hope.
Yep.
And I mean, literally, he takes DVDs and Blu-rays and he freezes, puts them up on a massive, screen, and literally goes in, and super zooms into every single inch of this model, and just goes through every possible imaginable way of being able to replicate down to the T exactly what the studio scale looked like.
Now, wasn't there a backstory? And correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this kind of the initial design for the Millennium Falcon, or similar? And I don't know. I think I saw that in a documentary where the Millennium Falcon was originally supposed to be kind of the long version like this, or no? Am I making that up?
That story I have not heard.
Okay.
So I can't speak to that.
Yeah, it's the Corvette. There's one it's the Corvette. I've got it way in the back.
Oh, okay. So it's a different.
It's the Corvette, and what had happened is when they first did the first ship, it was looking too much like the Space 1999.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
they had to change it, and they came up with the hamburger or whatever, and that's when they did that.
Beautiful. Yeah, there it is.
Mhm.
The money shot right there. Man, beautiful. Every time I see these studio scales, I'm like, man, I want to get into studio scales so bad, but
Yeah.
it just I don't have the real estate in this room for that. But
Well, I mean, I once said that myself, and I've still managed
Yeah.
to basically stuff my house in every single room with something.
yeah,
A lot of us do that.
I'm gonna get to that point soon enough. So here's the Falcon. Now is this one of the Diagostini kits or no?
No, there's an interesting, very, very interesting backstory to this one. So right after what after the newest Star Wars, I forget.
The Force Awakens or
The Force Awakens, thank you,
Yeah.
came out. Hasbro came out with a new version of their Millennium Falcon toy, if you will. It really wasn't a toy because if you remember the originals, you could take off the top and you could put action figures in it and all that stuff. The ones we had when we were kids. This was kind of a special production that was just basically a model. It was just basically a model. It didn't really have, didn't really have any, way of anything. It was just a model. It was just a model, and you can get it through, I believe it was exclusive through Target, as a matter of fact. And Mark called me up one day and he said, "You're not going to believe this, but I picked this darn thing up at Target, and this is the closest production thing I have ever seen that is almost to a T exactly like the studio scale version."
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So we set off to take this version,
Yeah.
and there was also a 3D printer person, and I couldn't tell you who it was or what company they were, but they were actually printing 3D extra detailed parts specifically for this Hasbro version.
Huh.
With the auto, all kinds of cool
And
stuff.
I mean, so like the side trenches and everything are all 3D printed parts from a third party.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And so, Mark went to work, ripping this thing apart and putting it back together piece by piece and turning it into this beautiful masterpiece.
It looks like a master
it is a masterpiece. You would never know that the base of it really is a production model from a toy manufacturer.
Yeah, I would have never ever.
No one would ever guess that.
That is crazy, and it's a 32-inch. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's
wow.
It's good size. It's good size, but I mean, I don't know how much I showed of but I mean, the entire cockpit's completely, all the backlighting is all done, and the engines obviously light up, and the front running lights and everything. I mean, it's just and just the details are it just drips details.
And it goes to show, right, what these model makers can do. Like they could take something that obviously it was already pretty close, like you said, but
and I mean, and I mean, it was close enough that even other companies, other people were working to produce extras, if you will, extra 3D printed parts to even make it more accurate than originally stock came. So
that's beautiful. So this is another shot of the.
And there's a backside of the Millennium Falcon.
Look how damn awesome that looks. It looks so weathered and beat up.
No, it's insane. I would have never ever
Yeah, it was an expensive ass toy though. That thing was right. Michael was like $100 to buy it.
It was like, yeah, it was. I think it was like around 75. I think it was
Yeah.
around 75 as
Yeah,
I recall.
online right now it's several hundred.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you try to grab one of these now, yeah, it's out of production.
That is still crazy. It's all right. So what do we have here? This is a large.
That is the Mega AT-AT. That is the Mega AT-AT. It's another Salzo kit, and it was put together again from Mark Elkins. You see a theme here, I'm sure, a reoccurring theme, and the original. So everyone remembers, the AT-ATs making their appearance in Empire Strikes Back. Most people don't know that the original stop motion AT-ATs were only, I think, gosh, I'm going back a ways, but they were less than 24 inches high. So they had to, when it came time for one of these things to fall down, right? The little ones didn't make much of a thud, per se. Yeah. So again, just like the hero version of the Raider and the Viper and stuff, there was a hero version of the AT-AT, right? Yeah. And it was used for the purpose of falling down. Wow. Because it made a much bigger thud when it hit the ground. And so this is the premise behind the Mega AT-AT.
Wow.
Yeah, there's not a lot of images of that one that he's talking about either. But
they kept that one really, really, really secret and very close to the cuff on that one.
Yeah.
And Michael, you have one, right? That's
I do. Salzo actually made me one as well. Yeah, these things have huge aluminum. The armature on this thing is.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's self-standing, right? Yeah, I mean it actually is standing on its own legs and posable, and so obviously once you get it into the position you want, you have to tighten down all the bolts and everything, so it becomes sturdy. But I mean it's a massive beast. It's heavy.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Michael. Have you seen Kurt's? He's had several of them, but he's got that one that's like in a stance, like when it stops and
steps. Yeah, it's actually the same one. It's the Salzo one, and actually Mark built Kurt's and mine at the same time.
Yep, that's when I first found out about you, Michael, and Kurt. Was the video that Kurt did going to pick up his AT-ATs.
Well, and that's the funny thing. I was talking to Gabe before we started, and we were talking about me and Kurt just always seem to miss each other. And literally, when I went to pick up the AT-AT from Mark to bring it home, Kurt showed up the exact next day.
Okay.
And literally, if you go onto Models Miniatures Magic, he superimposed his picture with me and Mark to make it look like we were all there on the same day.
Oh,
that's cool. Funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier, and it's kind of funny how that works, right? A lot of these relationships that we've built, just with collectors, it's kind of funny because a lot of us have never met each other in person. But yet we're
it's close friends. We're all spread out so far usually, right? Yeah. I mean, I've got we're relatively local, right. You and me, Gabe, but I mean, we're not to Michael, and Mark's a ways away, and I've got other builders I use who are clear out in Florida and such, and it's so I mean, you maybe get to meet once face to face only a few times every couple of years. Really, you talk a lot more than that, but
right.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. Beautiful piece. I love that.
And this was an interesting story behind the headlamps, which are actually not part of the Empire Strikes Back version. It's the Return of the Jedi, where you actually see the headlights on. But this was Mark surprised me with this. So he told me he was doing something that he knew I'd really, really like. And of course, I became very, very suspicious and very worried at the time. But that was his surprise, is actually the adding the headlamps. The headlamps to it, which we're seeing again in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, because in Return of the Jedi, you really only see the AT-ATs. Only, I mean, the ones I remember,
very brief on Endor. At the Endor, almost towards the end, actually.
Yeah, right. When they bring Luke, right?
Yeah, when they've captured Luke Skywalker and bringing him before Darth Vader. Yeah.
Interesting. Beautiful. I love it.
And I've got a couple studio scale ATSTs. That's just one, and it's almost in perfect scale with the Mega AT-AT.
Yeah, that's true. Golly, I didn't even think about that.
I never even thought about that either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Jeez.
And that's the Snowspeeder.
Oh man, that is. And so the Snowspeeder is, and I don't know if I've ever told you, Michael, but the Snowspeeder is actually probably my favorite Star Wars ship.
Is it? It's a
Well, I mean, it was probably one of the first ones I got from like Kenner Hasbro when I was a kid. The ship. Well, yeah, it was like I saw Empire Strikes Back. And I had to run out and get the Kenner toy of the Snowspeeder. So
I love how they look. They look a lot like the War of the Worlds ships. You know how they're kind of they go and they look like a stingray almost.
Yeah, I can see that.
Beautiful.
So real quick, what version Snowspeeder is that?
You really wanted a backstory of that one?
Oh, is it another one?
That's a Hasbro.
Wow.
No. What?
Yep. Dude, yeah, I'm telling you
that is another Hasbro base that was manipulated beyond belief.
What? That is crazy.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's beautiful. I mean, all the damage all over it. That is crazy. I would have never ever.
Oh, I mean, there's almost nothing original left of it, but I mean, the base still exists as a it was a mass produced version of the Snowspeeder.
Wow.
Yeah, it's badass.
Beautiful.
Studio scale TIE fighter. That one I cannot tell you where that one originally came from. I mean, that one's it is studio scale, but its origins I don't know from.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, I love that.
The Tidarium shuttle. That's a Steve Neeson pattern.
I'm sweaty palms right now, Michael. You know that.
I know.
We'll talk later.
Yeah. Jeez.
This thing that has the detail.
And it was the claim to fame on this one was we actually built it out with the actual crew in the cockpit. I don't know if I sent you a picture of that, but we actually did that and even lit up R2-D2 and C-3PO's eyes.
That is awesome. I love it. Jeez.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. It just now. Do the wings kind of lock on their own, or is it
they lock mechanical? Yeah. I mean, the way I had it made is it can be put in flight mode or landed mode. So as you've seen the flight mode earlier, now it's actually got the landing gear down and it's actually set in place on its landing pads.
Did Mark do this one? He didn't, did he?
No, this was a Dan Gramuntz build.
Yeah.
With someone who did a lot of work for Kurt.
Yeah.
I'm probably butchering his last name, but
that's amazing. And how difficult is it to go from the kind of flight mode to this
not
mode?
too bad. You just have to be, I mean, it's given, with the wings and everything, it's a pretty delicate model. So you just have to be extremely careful. It's best 2-person. A lot of these things are, it's best if you're going to be
Yeah.
moving or doing anything with them. It's a 2-person job. Someone to hold it, someone to remove it from the stand, depending on the size and so.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, geez.
This is the one.
So this is the 6-footer?
No one wanted to see this. Come on.
Yeah.
Man, that is such a beautiful piece.
So this is the Star Destroyer Avenger.
Man.
The Empire Strikes Back.
So what can you tell us about this? I'm sure.
So it's custom built by Mark Elkins. Again, another theme. He's also the creator of Michael's new base model of the 8-foot version. This is a 6-foot version. When Mark built it, he did not light it. And he left the landing bay completely open with the concept that at some point in time it would be built out. Because in the movies, whenever you saw the landing underside of the Star Destroyer, there was these 2 very large doors that were closed at the back side of the landing bay, so you never knew what was really behind those 2 massive hangar doors. So with that, we actually I step back a little bit. So I acquired the piece from Mark, and I promptly went to my friends at ILM or ex-ILM friends, and they started old school working on it to bring it to life. And I mean, it was done old school, all with fiber optics. I think I sent you some of the pictures of the guts of her. But everything, everything. I mean, several miles worth of fiber optics in it. The landing bay was completely built out.
I love it. That's awesome. That's more my scale right there. I'm gonna have to get the little
the little 1.5-inch Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. That's so cool. Jeez.
Yeah, so it's a combination of red, yellow, and white lights. Staying very true to the original studio scale model. In fact, the people who worked on this were actually the people who worked on the 8-foot Avenger studio scale filming model.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
And that is my half-scale, a little bigger than half-scale Super Star Destroyer Executor.
Jeez.
And that is a complete custom build. So kit bashed, built from the ground up.
Wow. That is insane. I mean, just the detail. I mean, the hours and hours that took.
Most of these projects, I mean, especially the projects I started from the ground up, it's 1 to 2 years usually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've talked about it. And if you're going to get into the studio scale, you definitely have to have patience. That's for sure.
Look at that. That is so. All the LED lighting under there, is it? I mean, I could see the individual kind of holes, like the pinholes.
In this
What
case,
about the longer?
well, so in this case, the technology is a little bit different. There is no fiber optics employed in this version, in this particular model. It is a technique where basically the entire inside of the model lights up with REDs, so you can actually change the color.
Okay.
But the technique is basically paint and then remove paint. And where the paint is removed is where the light leaks from.
That makes sense.
So it's very labor intensive, but less intensive than, especially for this particular model, which was extremely, extremely heavily lit. it would, from a fiber optics perspective, it just would not be practical to try to light it.
So essentially, the frame is kind of made. I showed a picture of Michael's getting built. How it's like a see-through acrylic type of.
Yeah. So
material.
it's aluminum and steel armature, then covered in the base is clear acrylic, and built up from there.
Wow.
It's the Death Star that Mike built. It was done exactly the same way.
Yep.
Every one of those little holes were tediously drilled.
Yep.
To the.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, every one of those little holes, man. Like every little thing, you know.
Look at that. That's just, man. See, that's the one thing about the models, though, is that sometimes the underneath part of them is just some of the most beautiful work, and it's kind of it's such a shame too, because sometimes they're you kind of have to get underneath it, but these are beautiful.
It's like, why does everyone have to start building on the bottom first, right?
Right. Exactly. Man, that is such.
This was in the film. This was actually another rust ship.
Say that again, Mike.
In the film in Return of the Jedi, this was another ship that was rushed. I think they built this ship. They said in golly.
Well, it actually made its first appearance in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
But it also was in Return of the Jedi. It actually crashed into the Death Star. So
yeah, it dives in there.
They made a a swan dive into it. So
yeah.
Look at that. I mean, it's just so impressive just to see.
It's like a little city, right?
Yeah. It looks.
Well, it was supposed to be in reality 17 miles long.
Yeah. Man, that's so cool.
I remember you telling me that, Michael. That's so cool.
Look at that. I love it. And I like the way that obviously just the technique of like how you mentioned the paint removal, obviously you could see that it's a very fine technique where, a little bit less paint obviously is going to let out less light. You take it all off. It's just going to be bright.
It's all about the nuances of how much paint, how thick the paint is, and how much of the paint is removed.
Yeah.
And where it's removed to provide, that illumination, right?
Yeah. Man. Beautiful.
And this actually is from an ILM friend of mine. He did it all by himself.
Yeah.
Even Captain Picard is impressed.
Of course he is.
Man, look at that. I didn't even know it had an underbelly like that. Wow. See, you said you're the one that was geeking out for this show. I'm the one. I think I'm the one who's really geeking out.
You just have no idea. I'm just got a lot.
Yeah, I think that's this isn't the first time myself seeing a lot of these models. So for me, my mind is blown right now.
I respect your collection so much, Michael.
Well, thank you so much. I'm envious of yours as well. I wish I had the space to geek out more.
I understand. So that's the trash chute, right? That's what that's called.
Yeah, that's the disposal chute on the back.
Did you know that, Gabe?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, isn't that cool? I learned myself with everything going on. I'm learning every week on this thing.
Oh, look at that.
So this is what I was talking about. So usually, I mean, if you remember watching, when they do a close up of the landing bay, there's usually these what appear to be two large hangar doors that are closed. So you never get to see, this is our rendition or our vision of what it looks like if those doors were actually open. You've got little TIE fighters in the roof racks and things like that.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, all of those, like, let's say those little TIE fighters. Now, are those just all hand built, or are they little?
They're hand built.
Wow.
Oh, look at that! I didn't even recognize that. I'm looking at reference pictures that I've been getting recently and looking to see that they're it's really cool. And
Just so cool.
yeah.
And you said even the lighting, right, is matched. You right? You guys matched
Well, it's
the
close. Yeah. And I mean, we, tried as best as
color.
possible to get the exact same lighting. Again, the piece of resistance for me was actually being able to get some of the original ILM folks who worked on the original to actually work on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the posters, some of the posters, I think, look at that. And one of the posters, I have it, and I saw it in the background of Michael's. You can see sometimes the different lighting in the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's much harder to see from a visual perspective in the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you do any research and look at any of the pictures of the actual studio scale model, it's not just all white lights, right?
Yeah.
Here is literally the process. You could see all the fiber optics hanging out from the underside, and he literally is drilling with a little micro hand drill, drilling port by port by port, and each one of those gets run with a fiber optic line.
That's just crazy. I mean, and again, I think that's the part that is kind of being romanticized again, right? It's the physicality, like actually touching the props, getting away from the CGI. And I mean, I think this picture is a perfect example of that, of the work and just the detail that goes into it. It's amazing.
It's the artistry is beyond explanation. I mean, I built, like probably most kids back then my age, we built models, and I might have been a little bit better than some, but I mean, I look at this stuff and I just bow, I mean, to the artistry. I mean, it's so beyond me on how they bring these things to life in the way they do. It's a gift. It really is. It's a gift, and just like all artists are gifted with some unique talent, theirs is this.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're getting into the Star Trek here, right?
Oh yeah, we got a little bit of that too. So you're seeing the Enterprise. Yeah, I forget the scale. It's good size. It doesn't look so big in the background here, but the Enterprise D, a 1/250 scale, Reliant.
Yeah. Look at that.
So the one in the front, because that's on the top. Is that like Next Generation ship?
Yeah, Next Generation is the Enterprise D, and that's the Reliant from the Wrath of Khan,
which is awesome. I like that one, the Wrath of Khan.
I always like the story of the Reliant, though. The story I have heard.
The story.
So there's good backstory to the Reliant. So they were pre-production for the Wrath of Khan, and they had built the Reliant, and they brought it in to the executives to have them look at it and give them their blessing. The problem is it was put upside down. And they loved it. And they said, oh, okay, that's the one we're going to use. And the fact of the matter was it was upside down. The nacelles were supposed to be on the top.
Oh, that's hilarious. So then, and that's just the way.
So if you were to flip this thing completely over, that was the way they had started to build it. So just like kind of just with, the nacelles would have been on the top, just like the Enterprise, just with much smaller pylons. And, and basically the story is, they got the blessing on it and they walked down and the builders were like, do we say anything? And it's like, no, build it. Keep it just like that. So they built it out, and that's how the Reliant came to be. It's an upside down ship.
That's awesome.
It'd be cool to have a crashed version of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Dang, look at that.
And that's a Richard Long pattern Defiant, studio scale Defiant from Deep Space Nine.
See in the background, Gabe?
I see it.
That's my 6'5" Cylon Centurion.
Oh. Now, is there any kind of lineage behind that? That Centurion?
The Defiant or the Centurion?
The Centurion in the back.
Scares the shit out of people when they come up the stairs and see it. Especially when they turn the corner and they're not expecting to see something 6'5" standing there. But yeah.
Does it have a vocal box or no?
I'm sorry?
Does it have a vocal box?
Yeah, it's got a whole huge dialogue library.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And it's done on an MP3 player. Just a little mini MP3 player.
That's what Todd recommended I did too, because they had the motion ones, but he said the same thing.
Yeah, it's just a little. It's no bigger than one of it's just like one of your slim
like
sticks. Yeah, just a little teeny thing.
Michael, what mannequin did you end up using for?
It's a Roxy display. I'm giving free advertising, but yeah, again, I think Roxy has, you could go online to, I think it's roxy.com or whatever. And they've just got such an incredible selection of mannequins. And again, we were talking earlier about it. They've got mannequins with articulated fingers that can hold guns and arms and, that move and everything. And they're not particularly cheap. But if you want to, as I was saying, I have a stormtrooper outfit costume downstairs that I've been threatening to, get another Roxy mannequin and, put together, but just haven't quite done it yet. But that's, but I did a lot of extra work. I did a lot of extra padding. So, I took the mannequin and I beefed it up. I beefed it up significantly. I just took, the foam, the thin foam that just in a big roll, and I just rolled, made some serious biceps and just really just pumped out his chest and so on and so forth, and that's when before I and then I just stuffed him into the leotard and the black leotard and got him into shape, and that's when I put them together. But
awesome.
You did a great job. I know you sent other pictures of it. I'm not quite sure if you.
I think I sent them just specifically to you.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, he was telling me about giving me an option on a gray suit versus the black suit, and I did go.
Oh, well, there's I think they do 3 options. They do the blacks, or no, they do 2 options. They do the black suit and they do the purple suit.
Yeah.
Now the purple suit, or God, it might even be mauve or whatever color they call it. But that is actually the true color of what was the filming Cylon Centurions.
That's what
it doesn't appear that way actually once it was being filmed. It appears to be black, but it's not. It's this really, really deep crimson purple.
Yeah,
and but that's the actual color of, if you want to stay completely true to the costume of the Cylon Centurion, that's the way to go. I went with a version. I wanted it to be how it was perceived to be viewed, which was, so I went with the black option.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Now, Michael, you said you're getting one of those, maybe?
The Cylon?
Yeah,
I ordered it this weekend. Sure did.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting ready. It's Crop Circle.
Crop Circle out of Canada. You can look them up. They do all kinds of things. They do costumes across all different genres. They've got Alien. They've got all kinds of. It's an incredible website for anyone who's into, life size. Any cosplay, life-size costumes. Anyone who wants to do, what we're doing is just taking the costumes and turning them into static statues, if you will. That they're definitely definitely a place that you need to stop by and take a look at their shop.
Yeah, he's super cool. Yeah, he said that they're just now starting. My timing was good because they're just starting a new run.
Oh yeah, and I mean, they just keep you so totally updated on everything. Once you order from them, they keep it completely. And if there's any questions, they're right there asking you, "Hey, what about this? What about that?"
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, they're a good dude.
So there's the bottom of it, and then this is
and that's what you're seeing actually behind me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is the studio scale Katinga.
Wow.
It's a Richard Long pattern.
That
is the 66-inch Jim Key Enterprise. Enterprise 1701.
That's bad. That's nice.
Wait, so the middle one is 66 inches?
So the middle, the larger one, the larger TOS Enterprise is 66 inches.
Oh wow.
And then the one in the case is just, as some of you may remember, when QMX was involved with actually putting out scaled models and stuff back in the day. That is a 1701 refit.
Wow.
Does it have the little spinning thing, lights on the top and stuff?
The TOS does, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you could actually see it running right now in the background, but the actual nacelles are spinning.
Are spinning.
Oh, that's so cool.
Man. Well, man, thank you so much for showing us. And I know this is just part of your collection. It's not even the whole thing.
I've got a garage. Yeah, I need a bigger house or a 3,000 square foot warehouse that I can convert into a museum. There you go.
That'd be good.
Michael, I think you could help me with that one.
Yeah, just let me know, buddy. I think the best thing is to come to Texas and get some cheaper real estate.
Anything's cheaper than California.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
No, Michael's been trying to convince me to pack up and move to Texas.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I might be convinced to go to Las Vegas, but I don't know if I'd go much further than that.
Las Vegas, huh? That's different.
Yeah.
Hey, closer to Mark, man. I could get so much. I could get so much.
By the way, I saw your life-size R2D2 Mark was working on.
Yes, that's going to be So then we got to go and work on the life-size C3PO, just because it's a pair. You got to have if you got one.
Do it.
Yeah, that's my favorite life-size. Well,
yeah,
I like an R2, but yeah, that 3PO, it's an awesome one.
Are you doing the R2 just like full aluminum, everything aluminum?
No. Well, it's resin. Most of it's resin with metal added on as needed. Accent. But nice. And a lot of the painting makes some of the parts actually look like metal when they're actually not.
Yeah.
It's all about the trickery, the sleight of hand of how it's painted that make it look more metal than it has actually on it.
That's how my R2 is plastic. So the front is just literally plastic. I had to cut it out. I mean, I had the blueprints for it, but most of the parts that you see are resin on the body. And same thing. Had to
it's how it's painted. I mean, if you get a good artist who knows how to paint something and make anything plastic look like solid metal.
Yeah. So check it out. Michael Gabe made that himself.
Yeah.
That is impressive, Gabe.
And the Han Solo and carbonite too.
Yeah.
Now that is even more impressive.
Yeah. The Han Solo one was actually much easier. I know, Michael, you did one too, right?
I believe that. I'm sure it was a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Well, easier than the R2, I guess. There you go.
So, who did you use as the physical body to make the casting?
For the Han Solo, it's actually a cast of the Elusive Concepts cast. So Elusive Concepts got to actually make a mold of the original back in the early 90s. So this is just a cast of the Elusive Concepts.
Got it.
Yeah. So
I thought you might have had, one of your best friends lay down and you plastered them,
Just
and
do it. No, I really try to focus on trying to get as much lineage as I can to the original prop. I eventually I'll probably get the Elusive Concepts one and kind of move this one out, but it just I put so much work into it, and I just I love it because I built it, so it hurts me to get rid of it. But maybe eventually.
I've told him not to, but
I wouldn't get rid of it personally.
yeah,
Myself,
he did, you know.
But I'm sure I can find a buyer for you if it wasn't me.
Right. The thing is, so I ended up using plaster for a lot of the front. So this thing weighs a ton just because the whole front is plaster. So crazy.
Well, as we all know, anything resin generally tends to have a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
Is your R2 Michael going to be 2-leg or 3-leg like this one?
Interchangeable.
Okay. Awesome.
2 to 3. Yep.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It can be posed with 3 or 2.
Yeah, that's sweet. I'd like to have a 3-legged R2 like that one. That stance.
Well, yeah, no, the R2 builders, they go crazy. They do a 3-2-3 where mechanically like the leg folds.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if you get the ones from Disney, now, the little 6 or 10-inch ones.
Yeah.
I mean, the remote control ones. I mean, they have the leg that comes down. They put themselves. They go back. The legs come down. I mean, I've seen it done. I've been to some of the conventions and stuff. And some of these people do the life size ones like that, and it's amazing.
All the attachments,
completely fully remote, and I mean the cost involved with that. I mean, these things can run you if you want a fully automated remote one. I mean, some of these guys,
50 grand.
spend 50 grand. Yeah, on these things.
Easy.
I'd love to have one, but I think I'll pass on the price tag.
Yeah, the aluminum parts are what starts. So I'm slowly interchanging some of the resin parts.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Yeah, if it was, if you had actually done, I knew where to get like the aluminum dome. But the aluminum dome was several $100s just for the dome. None of the parts on the side, or it's just the dome with a bunch of open spaces all the way around. Cut out.
So my dome, it's 2-part. It's 2 domes that sit on top of each other, and the top dome is kind of just the exterior part. And then the inner dome is the part where you're going to cut the little doors to open up.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. The whole process is just such a crazy process.
Well, I mean, from here, it looks like you did a phenomenal job. It's beautiful.
It looks right out of the movie, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's all about the weathering, right? It's all about the
It is, right?
I love
it.
Weathering.
It is about the weathering. It's amazing what you can cover up with some weathering.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah, a lot of the stuff, because it was resin. I was at the end, I was just like, I just want to finish it. I was just gluing stuff together with like silicone and stuff. I was like, I'll weather it. No worries. And then just kept on going. But yeah, no, so this one lights up. It's fully remote control. It drives around the head.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. So I'm not that familiar with like electronics and stuff. So I didn't do any of the doors and anything like that. But yeah, everything else lights up. The rest was pretty easy to figure out, but yeah.
So
it's beautiful. Your collection is gorgeous. I mean, I love all the helmets and everything, and the busts. I mean, they're great. They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But so again, thank you again.
Hey,
Michael.
absolutely,
it was
guys.
a pleasure having you on.
I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure to sit with you for this time, and it's gone by fast. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I know.
Actually been doing this for an hour and a half or so.
Yeah,
it happens every time. Every time we do an episode, we just go. We always say it's going to be an hour. We're going to keep it to an hour.
Keep it 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, exactly.
It's hard. But yeah, again, thank you so much, Michael.
Absolutely, my pleasure, gentlemen. Absolutely, and I will definitely catch up with you offline.
Absolutely, so, Michael. Any final words? Any final thoughts?
Well, I'm glad. Obviously, first off, that Michael, I can say that you're a friend of mine, and to know you now. And you were early on in the studio. I remember talking back and forth when I was really getting involved into it. You were a good person to talk to, and you still are. And man, you're welcome back anytime to shoot the stuff, bro. So.
Well, we'll have to make an appointment on the next position to have another a little sit down chat.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, thanks always, man, bro. And
Absolutely, it's been again my pleasure, both Michael and Gabe. It's been fun. So we'll look to catching up again, both online and offline.
Absolutely.
And we will again see you soon.
Perfect.
Yeah, keep an eye out for old Mark Elkins, because we're going to have him on here probably in about 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
So.
Cool.
Knowing the way things go, it'll be 4 to 5, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Well,
man.
all right, everybody. Well,
All right, guys.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us on Collection Wars. We will see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.